Well, so here's the other spin I'm getting from the administration as well, and they're saying that, look, we have to have a summit here, even though we haven't had concrete progress, because the only person who can make a concession in North Korea and make it stick is Kim Jong-un. And anybody lower than him who comes over for talks here or elsewhere and makes a concession that Kim decides he doesn't like is frankly risking his life. So you've got to go to the top here, and that's why it has to be Trump versus Kim, even if that's unusual in the history of summitry. What do you think of that?
Right. Well, that's certainly different from the traditional bottom-up approach. I'm more a fan of that approach where you have, in order to get the very comprehensive, detailed agreement, it's got to be done at the envoy level rather than at the leader level.
Right.
You know, you want to have an agreement more like the arms control treaties with the Soviets, which were 100 pages or more, had very intricate and very rigorous verification requirements. So whether you have the president first reach an agreement and then the envoys detail it out, but you don't want to have unilateral concessions as we did in Singapore. So we need to have progress even on achieving a common definition of what denuclearization is. The special envoy admitted in January that we don't even have an agreed definition of what denuclearization is with North Korea, despite repeated statements by Secretary Pompeo.
So would you expect and think that at a minimum we need to get, that is the United States needs to get from North Korea at least a declaration of where its nuclear sites are, where its research sites are, and an inventory of the weapons that it has?
Very much. You know, whether we get a very extensive agreement in Hanoi, or at least we need a very firm, unambiguous, public and written declaration by North Korea that they accept the UN definition of denuclearization, which is not global arms control, but rather abandonment of their arsenals as they're required to do. We need a commitment by them on a full and complete data declaration and an acceptance of international standards of verification.
What did you make, you're a former CIA analyst, what did you make of the reports this week that Kim has purged some of the critics of dealing with the United States and as part of some anti-corruption drive? Does this suggest that maybe Kim really is sincere in his denuclearization pledge and we could see some progress?
Well, we've seen purges by Kim Jong-un ever since he came into power in 2011 and 2012, as well as his father had done any number of purges. So we're never quite sure if it's because of corruption or eliminating real or imagined opponents. So I don't think we can directly link it to the people being purged are hardliners who are resistant to a nuclear agreement with the U.S., because Kim's been purging people, including hundreds of people, for quite some time. He even purged and executed someone for falling asleep in a meeting.
Okay, well, that's who the president is dealing with head-to-head. Thank you, Bruce Klingner. Appreciate your being here. Still ahead, from California to Colorado to West Virginia, teachers across the country are walking off the job, and it's